Well, hello everybody, and welcome back. Yeah, I've had a few thoughts on the Jethro Tull stand-up record that Kevin Gray remastered at 45 RPM. Been thinking about that record again a bit, and a few of the things that I had said during the video made me think about a few things. Well, what is it that makes your hair stand up on the back of your head? This record was also one of the few records that Kevin Gray has done since he left Acoustek at 45 RPM. In fact, since 2020, he's only made like 10 records at 45 RPM. And it's Kraft, a couple of Kraft recordings, a couple of Impex. He did one for Wilson Audiophile, Intervention Records, and he did an Analog Productions, Peter, Paul, and Mary, and the Jethro Tull since the end of 2020. So that's a couple of years. He's only done like 10 records. He doesn't do a lot of them. Now you have to remember, when he was doing the Music Matters stuff at 45 RPM, and Chad was also getting its stuff done at 45 RPM. This is like 10, 15 years ago already. That was back in those days with the state of the art at the recording studio that they had at Acoustek. 45 RPM was state of the art. It still is. But Kevin Gray doesn't have to do records at 45 RPM unless you're going for the ultimate, like an Impex, like a Kraft recording, like Wilson Audiophile. Those are some of the best sounding stuff out there. And you know why? It's 45 RPM at Coherent Audio. So I thought that was one of the reasons that record sounded so good, because it was 45 RPM at Coherent, and you don't have a lot of those. There's only, like I say, like 10, 11 records made since 2020, end of 2020. So another thing, right, we were talking about is, why does the hair stand up on the back of my head? What's causing that? And I want to show a couple of records. The Santana, right? This is the record that I can remember, one of the first ones that I got, and my hair was always up on end on it. And this is Mobile Fidelity, right? Then we have another 45 RPM from about the same year. I think it's about 08 or 10 around when these records came out. See if I can see quick on here. 2012 came out. And that state of the art is ORG by Bernie Grundman. And that was another one, made the hair on my head. Then, of course, we got George Marino. This is, again, 2012 or so. And Analog Productions. So, the only thing they got in common is really 45 RPM. It's different people that are mastering the records. Different people are making the records. But it's only RTI and QRP that's pressing the records and getting them plated and whatever. We know that how that important that is. But I was thinking, okay, we got another one. We listened to this one, right? What happened on this one? No, it didn't happen on that one. And I'm not, disrespecting that record, because very, very few do. But that one didn't have anything special going on for it. And then I got and listened to this one, right? And I'm getting that hair back. I stand on the back of my head again. Of course, these are all late 60s, early 70s stuff. And I've heard them 100 times, 1,000 times. I know the records by heart. I know what they sound like, right? And the ones I've got like a first edition Japanese pressing. I've got the Columbia 2 Eyes. I've got some good, I got the MoFi of the T for the Tillerman. I had the older MoFi. I got some good sounding records, and I know what they sound like. And then when you get this much more fidelity, then I'm getting it, because I know it by heart. I really know the record's really good. Like this, I know the songs on here are really good, because there's a lot of great sounding records out there. But why doesn't it make my hair in the back of my head stand up? I think that's the reason, because I'm not as intimate with those recordings as I am with these. But it's also, these are some of the best records that I've got in my collection. The ones that I showed here, when folks come over, this is the ones I play because they sound phenomenal. And here's another thing. A lot of people know these records, right? They know that the stuff off of here. You know, When I Die, God Bless the Child, Spinning Wheel. They've heard it on the radio 100 times, right? Evil Ways. I put this on because it's all about what? What are you comparing it to? If I put a Dave Brubeck record on, most people come over here, they don't even know who Dave Brubeck is. They've never heard that record, but they've heard Santana. They've heard Blood, Sweat, and Tears. They've got a frame of reference. They listen to it now, they go, whoa, that sounds great. So this is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Okay, and okay, let's talk about something else that's really been kind of hot in the VC lately. Record cleaning. Yeah, you knew I was going to talk about record cleaning, of course. Because when I put this record on, the first song, first side one, it's got some real high transient information up in the top end there. And I was hearing some mistracking. And I listened to it the first time and kind of tried to ignore it. And on the second go around, I'm listening to it and I say, you know what? What I've learned about these micro line styluses, you have to have really exquisitely clean records. And if you do, you're rewarded by expert fidelity. That's why they have ellipticals and other stylus profiles that don't dig as deep. They're not as pointed. They're not as small, micro line, right? They're not as small. They don't get as far down in there. Because if you've got any kind of dirt in your records, you're going to hear it. It's going to show up as most of the time mistracking, what I can hear. So I heard that. I didn't know what it was, if it's in the record or whatever. So I said, well, I better clean it. And I got out my Ilfitol, right? This is what makes water wetter. Because, you know, water has surface tension. And the grooves on the record are microscopic, right? So how is that water supposed to get into a microscopic groove when it's got that surface tension? If you just take regular tap water and you put it on your record, it beads all over there. And it doesn't get into the record's pores, into the groove because of the surface tension. This will break the surface tension. It costs, I think, $25 for this much. You put a tablespoon in a gallon of distilled water. You can clean your whole record collection over many times probably. Then I have my Spin Clean, which is like $100, I guess, and then my Record Doctor 5, which is a $200 thing. So I'm into it like $300 and change kind of thing. And I clean the record, I play it, and the mistracking, the noise is gone. Because I'm not hearing any pops or clicks or noise or record surface. This is RTI. Their records are pressed really nice. You're not hearing any record groove noise. I'm not hearing any of that. I'm just hearing some little bit of mistracking. So I cleaned the record and it got rid of it. Now I could probably use a $6,000, $5,000 record cleaner because I know there's people on the VC that have those and they're very happy with them. But I don't think it's working any better. You talk about the law of diminishing returns. Now I have to do everything manual, right? Spin the record, all that stuff, vacuum it. Everything's manual. I don't just sit it on the thing and let it do its thing. You have to pay for that convenience. And there's some people, I think like Mazzy, he's not even going to clean his records, but if he can just stick it in the Hummingbird, the Humming Guru, and let it spin around and clean it, that he doesn't mind doing that. But I do know this Patrick's got one as well, and he's been complaining about, you know, residue on the run-out groove because you can still see it's not coming as clean as when you vacuum in the record. My thinking on the record cleaning deal is, because I've used, when I first got my Spin Clean, right? That's all I had. And I put the soap in the water, I spun the record around, I listened to it, and it sounded worse. There was more snap, crackle, and pop. And I'm like, what? So I decided I'm not going to put any soap in it, and I cleaned the record, and then I didn't hear all that noise. Because, with the spin clean, you spin the record around, and there's a lot of dirt comes off, but you're just drying it off with a towel. You're not getting because when you spin it in there, so now I use this, it breaks the surface tension on the water gets in the groove, because you're cleaning with water, basically. That's the universal solvent. You're cleaning with water, and once the surface tension is broke, and you've got those brushes on there, and you're squishing the water into the grooves, and you're removing a lot of the dirt, but there's still, dirt in the grooves. So now you put it on the vacuum, and you suck all the dirt and remaining water and everything off the record. And I think between those two processes and with the Iphitol, I'll stack it up against any of these other guys' cleaning machines when you want to hear a difference, because I'll tell you what, when I cleaned it with just water and then I use this, I can hear a difference. It sounds better when you use this than when you're not using anything. So that's going to conclude the video for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do and you stayed this long, make sure you like the video and make sure you're subscribed. And thanks for watching. Bye for now.